Hey everyone, I'm Cassandra. I'm a writing coach at Prompt, and we're the world's leading provider of college essay coaching and feedback. We asked our TikTok followers to let us read and react to their college essays, and you all really came through. We received some interesting, intelligent, and downright hilarious submissions, and today we're going to go through a few of them to help you understand what worked and to avoid making common college essay mistakes. Every essay we read shared an interesting story from the student's life. But remember the goal of the college essay. You're trying to prove that you'll be successful in college and beyond. And the way to prove that potential is by demonstrating your strongest traits via your experiences. So while many of these essays caught our attention, the most common piece of advice we had for students was to focus more on what they've done that demonstrates their strongest traits. Let's start with Megan B. On TikTok, Megan wrote, "I wrote mine about Taylor Swift being my political awakening." Megan sent us an essay about how Taylor's political activism led to her own realizations about social justice. She wrote, "Her posts compelled me to become involved in the world of social politics. I acutely remember being appalled by the stories I read of LGBTQ+ teens forced out of their homes and into conversion therapy. I remember the disappointment I felt when I discovered that women make 75% of a man's salary. I remember feeling disgusted as I heard of Black Americans being tried and receiving unfair sentences compared to their white counterparts." What's working well is that Megan demonstrates a sense of intellectual curiosity in her efforts to educate herself, and the desire to take initiative in lines like, "I realize that there is no reason that I can't be the person who sparks change." The essay starts in early childhood at age 5 and spends quite a bit of time on her realization at age 14. While both anecdotes could be helpful context, we encourage students to keep background information to just a single short paragraph so that you can focus on more recent experiences that will help the reader get to know the person you are now. With that extra space, Megan could add details to explain her more recent actions. For example, she says, "I brick by brick began to tear down the stigmatizing walls in my head built by society until I emerged as a person who cares for and accepts all individuals regardless of anything that may make them different from myself." I'm curious to know what she did to develop this mindset. For example, any research or dialogue she engaged in, and how she shows or promotes acceptance. We received a few essays about students' cultures and families, such as Nicole's, who uses her essay to explain how growing up in a family of Persian immigrants inspired her to become more politically active. Nicole starts to use her actions to demonstrate her initiative. She writes, "Whether it is publishing research on local political candidates, organizing youth-targeted events to spread awareness of food insecurity in my state, or independently investigating the relationship between mental impairment and the U.S. criminal justice system, awareness of global issues is a core value I live by. I now dream of a future in a courtroom or on a local news network where my voice can be a force of positive change for families similar to mine." She starts with a lengthy account of Sundays at her grandmother's house, which included 12 cousins and a lunch of traditional Persian cuisine. It was well written and made my mouth water, but it was more about her family than it was about her, the person the admissions readers are trying to get to know. I would encourage Nicole to keep this story to a single paragraph to leave more room to expand on her actions. Then she could explain how her experience growing up in this immigrant family inspired her to research certain topics, spread awareness, and the steps she took in order to do so. That content would go even further in helping admissions readers to appreciate her strongest traits, like intellectual curiosity and initiative. Next, let's talk about creative structures in college essays. One student compared their experience with polycystic ovarian syndrome, PCOS, to the series Jane the Virgin. They organized the essay into episodes which were titled based on aspects of their life that were similar to aspects of Jane's. Love triangles, investigations, drug lords, people dying and returning back to life, and artificial insemination. The student does demonstrate resilience and drive by explaining what they did as a result of their struggles with PCOS. They write, "Early this year, I joined the PAD Project, an international organization, as an ambassador for women to spread awareness and help other menstruators." They go on to explain that the experience and the passion they discovered for helping others in similar situations motivated them to pursue a career in gynecology, which suggests a desire to contribute and make a difference in the lives of others. They could have gone further to serve the purpose of the college essay by using their experiences to demonstrate their strongest traits. While the comparisons to Jane the Virgin are clever, they lead to a structure that focuses a bit too heavily on what happened to the student when the reader will be more interested in what the student did as a result. My advice would be to consolidate the content about symptoms and diagnosis into a single context paragraph, which would leave more room for them to demonstrate contribution by explaining what they did as an ambassador and the ways in which they were able to help others. Lastly, I want to touch on one of the biggest myths we hear, which is that you have to use your college essay to tell your story. Sophia shared a lovely story about her friend sending her 104 reasons to live when she was feeling down. This simple story has a lot of potential and the makings of a great hook, with items like number 84, the misting of vegetables, number 59, crickets, number 63, raspberry-filled dark chocolate. This is an interesting, heartwarming story, but remember that the story you choose to tell in your college essay should reveal something about your character. To help the reader learn more about her, I would encourage Sophia to explain how she changed as a result of receiving this list in order to demonstrate her strongest traits. The essay ends, "I keep this list in my notes app, and I look at it when I feel upset or lonely, not only because the specifics cheer me up, but because it reminds me of how I felt to see the message. I hope to never stop caring about my friends, myself, and my life. To always take pleasure in simply saying hi, number 60, and one day to find my place in the world, number 46. I'm curious to know whether the list inspired Sophia to contribute to the lives of others. Maybe she took steps to improve their lives just as the list improved hers. Overall, remember to keep the focus on yourself and recent actions that demonstrate your strongest traits. While you can absolutely mention other people or times in your life for context, keep in mind that the reader will be most interested in learning about you and who you are now. Thank you so much to these students for generously sharing their essays with us. If you'd like to share your essay with us, there's a link in the description below where you can submit it. And please let us know in the comments if you have any college essay questions you'd like us to answer in future videos. Thanks for watching.